Do you ever hear people talking about their side hustles and think, why not me? Well, what's stopping you? We worked with HubSpot to create a database of 100 side hustle ideas that you can start now. Everything from design and real estate to public speaking and wellness. There's something in there for everyone. Plus, we cover the skills you need and the investment you'll probably have to make to get started. Ready to break out of your 9-to-5? Go to HubSpot.com/THDS to download for free.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, December 16th. I'm Jon Weigell here with Martina, Bretous, and Maria Gharib, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. OpenAI finally let Sora loose. The AI video generating platform has the tools to potentially change everything in creative industries and AI regulation, but will it really? Today, our resident AI expert, Martina Bretous, will delve into OpenAI's Sora release with our guest, Maria Gharib, writer of the Mindstream newsletter. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. To start off, a little softball here. As per usual, Costco is doing fantastically lately. The subscription superstore beat Wall Street's earnings expectations, increased the store traffic from 2023, and they increased their e-commerce earnings 13% this quarter compared with last year. Next, over to Taylor Swift. As the Eras Tour hype deflates at the end of 2024, one statistic really stood out, that Taylor Swift fans tip really well. Of the 353,000 Uber rides taken by Swifties to the tour, the driver tips were 8 times the average. Stimulate that economy, Swifties. From there, we go to the skies. Understandably, Boeing investors are reportedly very wary of the company after an objectively bad year. I think we can all say that. The company's stock dropped 35% in 2024 and is among one of the biggest underperformers in the S&P 500. Let's see if they can stay out of the news in 2025. That should be the goal. From planes to homes, the American idea of the home is changing. With a report from Zillow, the real estate company found through millions of listings of keyword analysis that home buyers want more cozy homes, vintage-looking interiors, home batteries for electric vehicle charging, and a home spa. Very buzzy words. And finally, Apple's iPhone sales struggled around the release of the iPhone 16 earlier this year, leading many of us to think, what are they going to do next? How are they going to fix this? It seems that the next frontier for Apple, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, is to create thinner and foldable phones next year, along with a foldable type of iPad laptop hybrid. So let's see what happens there.
Hey everybody, it's your host, Jon Weigell. If you love the insights HubSpot brings to your podcast feed, then you're going to love Marketplace Tech. This daily podcast keeps you up to speed about the latest in tech news and what it all means for the economy. With stories about AI regulation, the fight against misinformation, and the latest in crypto, Marketplace Tech is essential listening to understand the business behind innovation. Listen to Marketplace Tech wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, on to our main story today. As mentioned above, today we have Martina back with Maria to dive into the release of Sora, its features, possibilities, and what its impact might be on creative industries. Take it away, everybody.
Maria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. How have you been?
I've been great. So the thing on everyone's mind when it comes to AI these days is OpenAI's Sora release. So we've been waiting for 10 months, nearly a year for this to happen.
Yeah.
They finally made a version of Sora available to the public. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is within hours, they had to limit access because there's been a super high demand that they weren't expecting.
Yeah.
So can you tell us everything that you know about the Sora features that have folks excited?
Yeah. So Sora is OpenAI's new shiny toy, right? So it's a text-to-video model that lets you create short clips from just any written description. You know, you just write your prompt and it's there, it creates it, and it becomes a video. So imagine just typing in anything, you know, like, I don't know, a llama with a birthday hat, mm-hmm. The video gets out. So it's not perfect yet, but the potential is insane. You know, you could create videos up to 20 seconds long and it doesn't stop at text, right? So Sora also works with images or existing clips. You know, it lets you remix and play around with the content. Here's the cool part about this is it has some cool features. There's something called Sora Turbo Mode, which sounds fancy.
It does.
It speeds up the process and offers high resolution videos. So your videos actually might look pretty decent. It also has this remix feature, which basically like video Legos, you can tweak, you can extend and refine your videos as much as you want. So the applications, as you said, are endless. Marketers are absolutely raving about this. They're drooling over this, and educators are kind of thinking it of like a new way to teach. It's like a much easier storytelling kind of tool. But there's a catch, as anything else, there's a catch. It's currently only available to ChatGPT Plus and Pro users. And if you're in the EU or the UK, you'll have to sit this one out. Because for now, due to regulatory stuff, people in these areas don't have access as well as the rest of the world. So OpenAI is kind of like basically saying, here's a sneak peek of what you can do in the future, but don't blink.
Right. It's interesting because we waited so long for it to be released, and now it feels like there's another start-stop, right? They told us about it months ago. It wasn't yet available because it wasn't safe to use. Now we waited these past couple months for it to happen. Everybody's been buzzing about it. People are using alternatives like Runway and Pika Labs and Adobe Firefly. Now it finally gets here and it's like, wait, it's not available for free, which is understandable, right? I'm sure with more people using it, it brings more concerns. So they're probably trying to limit that until they can really refine it. But do you think that that's potentially going to affect how many people are using it because there's been such a start-stop with it?
Definitely. People are just going to wait maybe for the free version, I believe. But I think some of them are going to try it out, especially people that have, there are marketers and people that work in marketing. They're probably going to start on using it and apply as much as they can to be able to access it.
So tell me, what are some early reviews about its performance? I know you mentioned that marketers are really excited, that teachers, that's one that I wasn't expecting, that they're thinking about it as a new way to teach. So tell me about both sides of the aisle. So are there people who are loving it and people who are hating it, or universally people are really enjoying Sora so far?
So, as anything else, the reviews have been so far like a sandwich, Some of them are pretty good, some of them pretty bad. Some of them are like meh, like they're in between. People love how easy it is because it's easy to use and how quickly it can bring an idea to life. But there's also some kind of frustration because there are limitations, like struggling to make realistic motion or complex interactions in videos. So think of it as like a first gen iPhone. It's groundbreaking, it's amazing, but not without its quirks. So yeah, people that have access to it are very excited, but there's like also a clear sentiment that it's like more of a starting point rather than a final solution.
I know when image generation started, everybody was complaining about, extra teeth and extra hands. Is that something that people are also seeing in this version of Sora?
To an extent, yes. They're not saying extra teeth or anything else, but it's a bit limited. It's not as advanced as, let's say, Runway or Pika Labs,
Right. So the release hasn't come quietly, right? Artists have come out to say that they were used for art washing and that they weren't paid for the work that they did to make Sora usable for the public. So what can you tell us about that whole debacle?
Yeah. So there's like a sticking point, it's like artists aren't very happy about it. Some artists are claiming that OpenAI use it, as you said, to train Sora without asking for their permission or giving credits. It's called art washing. It's a big of an ethical gray area because while OpenAI says they're committed to ethical AI, the lack of transparency when it comes to that subject on where their training data comes from or this kind of stuff has ruffled some feathers. So there's a bit of a backlash. And it is new in the AI art space, obviously, but it definitely puts a spotlight on the need for a more of an open conversation between creators and tech companies.
OpenAI has been notorious about being a bit shifty about their use of data, right? Where they get their data, if they're sourcing it ethically. And I think a lot of other AI companies are trying to differentiate themselves by saying exactly where they're getting their data. We know that OpenAI also has a ton of open lawsuits from artists who says that they used their intellectual copyright to train their models.
Yeah.
So this brings us to another big concern about AI video generation, content moderation. So how is OpenAI ensuring that the content that they're going to be producing is safe, that it's legal, and that it's also copyright free? So what are some of the guardrails that OpenAI is setting in place to make sure that Sora is meeting all of these guidelines?
So from what I've read, they're being super careful, especially given how wild the internet can get. So for starters, you can't make videos of real people unless you're one of their approved testers. They've also got filters in place to block anything violent and explicit and obviously copyrighted. So we're creating the next favorite TV show. Like they're not going to redo Game of Thrones last season. They're not going to pirate any Disney animation. So it's all part of their effort to avoid deepfakes and deepfake scandals and keep the tool from being used irresponsibly. But, let's be real. Moderation is never perfect. So there will be a constant game of a cat and mouse in terms of that department.
Yeah, that's a great call out because they can put a lot of guardrails in place, but we know that's been a criticism for a lot of social media companies, YouTube, TikTok, and now OpenAI, that are the guardrails that they're setting enough? Because we see a lot of instances of it being used for a lot of dark purposes. And so OpenAI, now that they have this video tool, are going to have to set some pretty harsh guardrails, which you're saying they are.
Yeah. Definitely. That's what's going on.
So moving on to the entertainment industry, we know that a couple months ago when Sora was first announced, Tyler Perry said that he was pausing his $800 million expansion of his TV sets because of Sora and the possibilities of AI and how it could really help the entertainment industry save money, not having to build out these huge sets. So far, based on what we're seeing of Sora, do you think that it really has the potential to replace movie sets to enhance the work that people in Hollywood are doing?
So what Tyler Perry really said, he said jobs are going to be lost. I think, in my opinion, that's not going to happen. There's no replacement happening. So no way, not yet at least. And in terms of what Sora can do, Sora is more like a digital sketch pad, for filmmakers. It's like pretty great for mocking up ideas or creating quick visuals, but it's nowhere near ready to handle the complexity of a full-blown movie or TV show. We're talking about jobs that have years and years in training. So think of it as like a sidekick to the industry. It's not a hero in terms of that. So that said, Sora could shake things up, in the indie scene or for marketing content or even for film students, Say you're like a small studio with a tight budget. You can use Sora to whip up a pretty quick concept video or like a teaser. It's also perfect for pre-visualization, Directors could use it to map it out or like to map whatever scene they have. It saves time and money before committing to an actual full shoot.
Right. I love ending on that note that AI is the sidekick, not the hero. Our humans, our professionals who have invested years into their industries are still going to be the heroes, and they're going to be leveraging the sidekick when appropriate. But AI is not the hero here and doesn't look like it's going to be in the near future.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for breaking us down for us, Maria.
Of course.
See you next time.
See you.
Okay, that'll do it for us today. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. Go get subscribed at thehustle.co/email. Throw us a follow on Instagram at thehustledaily, and we'll see you tomorrow.